Hey Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot and welcome to May 6th. So today we have Venus sextile with Pluto, and mind you, Pluto is in retrograde. And so this is an amazing opportunity for Virgos where it significantly impacts our relationships and our self-worth. Now, before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all the ways that you support this channel. Truly, you make me feel so blessed. Each one of you makes the difference, and I love you back. So, like I was saying, today on May 6th, Venus, which is in Aries, so it's all about that independent, assertive energy, is sextile with Pluto, which is currently in Aquarius and also retrograde. And don't worry, we've got some time. I did a separate reading on Pluto's retrograde, but it'll be with us through about the middle of October. And so that is an energy that really allows us and offers us impactful shifts and shifts, more importantly, when it regards or revolves around intimacy and finances. And right away with the tarot, what's coming out in the energy is the sun. This sextile brings shifts towards the positive, not only with confidence, not only with compassion and contentment, but also health is wealth. So there's wealth to be obtained not only in the health aspect, but also in material wealth. And this is where it's a new beginning. So with the 19, it really reduces where the 1 is all about new beginnings, fresh starts, right? The birthing of new opportunities. And with the 9 and the 1, it reduces to that 10. It's all about completions. It's about attainment and success. And this is connecting with your crown, your enlightened self, your highest self, but your calling is how I would put it. And this is where you're finding a contentment in really a completion, feeling complete in what you're pursuing. Now, with this sextile, I do want to bring up some aspects to it. So when it comes to finances, it brings new unexpected financial gains. And so you may be, if you've been working towards a promotion, you may be expecting, coming around with annual reviews at a workplace that you're looking at getting a raise. This is where it brings in a shift for you and a shift in perspective of positive change. And so you may find that you actually, rather than just get the raise that you were expecting, especially with hardships, potentially that you're just looking at getting the average normal 3% raise to keep up with inflation. This is where you may find you're actually experiencing an opportunity where you're being rewarded and seen for your meaningful work, seen for the light that you're shining, the power and the strength of the sun that you're standing in, that vitality, enthusiasm, and prosperity that you bring to the business, and you're receiving more than you expected in that. Also, too, if you've been going after a promotion or unexpectedly, say somebody higher up in the company leaves, all of a sudden you get a call and they actually find that you're the one that they want to fill that position. Those new perspectives, those new opportunities will also help shift your perspective when it comes to finances. And so if you had been dealing with, like I say, worry, about keeping up with unforeseen situations or volatilities, this is where it offers you a profound shift that allows you to really embrace a prosperity that you weren't expecting, that brings you a stability that you weren't necessarily expecting either. And this again brings you towards that enlightenment. It brings you towards a lot of aspects where you're coming in and embracing an unconventional mindset, bringing in new ideas into this new position that weren't thought of before. When it comes to promotions or to a career, say you were applying for a job that is a little bit over your expertise when it comes to education as far as it looks on paper. They want you because you're bringing a perspective that's outside the box, that's not traditionally trained. It's a gift basically that you have that is following your intuition, that's looking at the knowledge that you've gained from how the company operates, what the company has as untapped potential and resources, and you're finding a way to marry those aspects where not only are you looking at the, say there was an issue of an abundance of a resource that they're not utilizing, now you're not only solving that problem, but you're bringing a new opportunity that also leads to financial gain. That's what you're bringing to the table, that fresh perspective, that unconventional thinking and problem solving, that critical thinking that connects dots that education can't necessarily teach you. Experience can. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because what's coming in for you, particularly on this day when Venus is sextile with Pluto, when it revolves around finances and financial gains, is that you are enterprising. You're standing as the King of Pentacles, which is all about manifesting material and pleasure. Material when it comes to wealth, whether that be prosperity in your career, finances, also to health. But this is where you're being a provider, and you're standing in a place where you're really embracing that Virgo in energy. You're coming through as dependable, as analytical. You're standing in those strengths that really ignite that fire of creativity, and it has an emphasis on security and on the foundational aspects, especially with that Four of Wands. This all speaks to your foundations. It all speaks to achieving through discipline, self-containment, putting order to chaos. It has a lot of that Aries energy as well, which, like I was saying, with Venus being in Aries, it's about asserting oneself, speaking those aspects, following your heart, and embracing the passions that you bring to the table, as particularly when it comes to desires and values. But it's through that unconventional thinking, through thinking outside the box, but also too being able to speak those ideas, manifest those ideas through pragmatic thinking. And this is where your harvest is coming in. Now, on the side of relationships, particularly when it comes to this sextile, it significantly impacts Virgos, not only with self-worth, but also in the areas of intimacy. And so keep in mind, this sextile could bring up past resentments. And so if you were passed up on a situation before, if things didn't work out, whether it be career relationships or people were doubting your skills, undervaluing you when it comes to being a leader, when it comes to stepping into really being that dependable person in a relationship. Also, too, it could bring up unseen love stories as well, where say there was something that started, didn't work out for whatever reason. This is an opportunity. This sextile creates an opportunity for deep emotional healing as well as connection. And this is where you're coming to the table in your communication. Also speaking passionately, speaking honestly, but also speaking into action and creativity through inspiration. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart, share your thoughts in the comments below. Because like I say, this is the time with this sextile where it offers us deep emotional healing, not only with healing past resentments, but more importantly, shining in your self-worth, stirring that soul-stirring experience within your passions, within your energy, and within your connections to really invoke positive change and come together when it comes to resolving conflicts. Now, keep in mind that this sextile also is occurring when Pluto is in retrograde, right? And so with that being in retrograde, it tends to bring back, like I say, a lot of past resentments, past unspoken love aspects, unspoken emotions. This allows us to really look at those emotions, take a deeper dive into those connections, and more importantly, leave those past hurts behind. Now, it could have been something as well with past relationships that either you or the other significant person was really dealing with abandonment issues, or say it was just such a point of conflict. What I'm also reading is that you just had a need to escape and to move on from that. Spirit was removing you from that energy to save you in a lot of ways from further hardships. And so if you've been having difficulty letting go, if you've been holding on to those aspects, holding on to that misery, right? The Four of Pentacles really speaks to being, having the Midas touch, being miserly with your finances. Now, particularly kind of looking at that aspect, especially if it was like a past job that passed you up, didn't value you for what you were, what you had to offer. This is where you are, again, or they are holding on to the past, and there's a bit of resentment, there's a bit of regret on the other side as well. And instead what you found by letting go, when you find with letting those go, when you dive into those emotions, when you look back at those unseen opportunities or those missed opportunities, whether it be on your side or theirs, Following the road that you went on, where Spirit removed you from this situation, it allowed you to free up your throat chakra, free up your heart chakra, realign to your passions and your purpose. And this sextile in particular allows you to really look at those aspects, finally put them to rest, so that you can stand in the energy that's meant for you, which is that sensible, nurturing aspect. This is also where you're looking at the idea of like, you're looking back at it and you're like, wow, I am really glad I walked away from that, because right now I have security, I have wealth, I have, the success that I'm really going for. And this is where you're on your soul-stirring experience path. This is where that conflict had actually held you back, and instead, particularly in love and relationships, and it was because it was imbalanced, right? It was from poor leadership, domination. But instead, by you walking on your own path, by walking and following your values and cherishing your values and staying in the present with following your purpose, this is where you're able to really stand in that inner balance. And that's where it's been achieved through temperance, as well as involve the strength of the sun. And so as you examine your values and your desires during this sextile position, this is where profound shifts occur, where you look back at aspects, how you relate to yourself as well as others, and it causes you to really shed outdated patterns, outdated beliefs, outdated negative energy, and instead really walk forward. It's like the past is done. There's no turning back in those regards. But more importantly, this is where you're finally looking at things and you're realizing, wow, I am so glad all of that happened. I am so glad Spirit removed me from that, because this is the time, especially with deeper emotional connections, it frees up that energy to really allow you to open that door to new relationships coming in. Following your heart in ways that your inner balance is better achieved, right? You've got that calm within you, whereas you look back, it was all unsteady, it was all uncertain, it was all chaotic and very volatile. And instead, this is where everything going forward will go well. This is where it's like it changes your perspective in a way where it's like you've been worrying in a lot of ways because of past aspects. But when you look at the present, what you've created since then, what you've built in your connections as well since then, that's where your hard work is really shining through. And this, honestly, is a new opportunity for you, and it's positive energy. This is reason to celebrate, and it's more importantly also a time of fertility for you, as well as an opportunity of joy and love and celebration and new relationships. But this is where it's like whatever ending had caused or had happened in the past, especially when it came to a challenge in relationships, communication, your self-worth, finances, particularly when it looks at shared resources, emotions, or even intimate affairs. Your hard work leads you to success as well as financial gain. But what I really get out of this is from the inside to the out, it provided you the opportunity to truly seek and go after your stability that's meant for you. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart, share your thoughts in the comments below, because this sextile is really going to help you with those profound shifts, those especially when it comes to a shift in your perspective that allows you to really take a look at things and say, you know what? I'm now seeing things for as they are. With the coyote, this is about the revealer of truth. This is also about making sure that you're looking back at those aspects and learning not to take life too seriously, right? Everything happens for a reason. There was wisdom from that you had to gain. There were mistakes, there were tricks, there were traps, but this is where you have the opportunity to learn from them, and more importantly, to carry that wisdom to be better prepared going forward, especially when it comes to those new opportunities, whether it be a new career choice, new raise, or even new promotion, new position, new partner. But this is where you're coming to the truths and seeing the past for what it is, and understanding just how much magic in the world there is and that lies in you. This is where you're choosing to know the truth because you can, and you're opening that inner vision where it was once blocked so that you can see through the deceptions and let go of the past so that you've got room for a better life going forward. This is the time to rise up. The sextile is really all about profound shifts in how you relate to others and how you relate to yourself, how you embrace change, but also too to rise up with that magic and that wisdom, because those truly are your birthright. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, like, share, subscribe, check out the Honey Sea Star store. It's another great way to support the channel. That way we can keep making more messages and keep sharing in this vision and this adventure together. But either way, I truly hope that and wish you guys the best with the sextile, because like I say, something big is coming in and it's offering a new beginning of stability as well as shifts towards truly valuing intimacy and finances, but also your true value. Now, I did just want to look at our color therapy, our music medicine, and so what we pulled is the G sharp and the D, as well as Indigo and Orange. And so as you do your meditations, particularly when you're tapping into this energy, calling in that financial gain, that new opportunity, new beginning, try playing around with these colors as well as these chord progressions to really realign your chakras, because what I'm seeing here is it's got a lot to do with your intuition, about following your true calling, and also about dreaming as big as the universe, letting yourself know that you can walk in the fool's shoes and learn to live a more inspired life. The mediocre wasn't meant for you. The past wasn't necessarily meant for you to stay in. It was meant for you to learn from. And this is your strength with that sun. This is where you're tapping into that energy and you're reaching that synthesis. You're reaching that dynamic balance. And so I truly hope that this reading helps. I am sending all my love and light to you. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.